What is going on, guys? Welcome to the next lesson in the SwiftUI to-do list app. In the last part, we wrote the login functionality, and in this lesson, we're going to finally start creating users, registering them, and actually logging into our app once those new accounts are created. So drop a like down below, and let's continue onward. So we did talk about in our login view model how we can log a user in, sign them in. Now, we obviously can't do that yet because we don't even have a user. So what we'll want to do is work on a register flow. Now, we do have a register view where we can input all this information, but we don't have a register view model yet. So let's actually go and create one. So let me just make sure I'm in the proper file. I indeed am. So we are going to want a register view model that is an observable object. Now, if I jump to our register view, you might recall we have 3 state properties on here for the name, email, and password. We're going to take all of these guys and we will toss them. Let's see if I can find that view model again into the register view model, and we will change them all to be published. And that's a fancy little trick you saw me do there. If you hold Option, you can actually get multiple cursors by just clicking and dragging. And it's a good way to save a bunch of time when you're writing code. So cool, so now that we have got this, we want to do 2 things when the user hits the register button. We want to validate, similar to what we did in login, that the input is all valid. And we also want to then create their account. Now, creating their account also entails creating a new record in Firebase, which I believe I have open here, for that user. So we want to create their account in authentication, and then we also want to insert the information about a user, right? So their name, their email, their ID, right? Maybe not their password, that's not very secure, but certainly some information about them. So let's do it. So first we're gonna say guard. We wanna validate, so let's say validate here, else we will return. Validate is going to return a bool similar to what login did. And we'll want to do 3 things, or 2 things. Make sure the name, email, and password are not empty, and make sure email looks good. So let's do that. So we're gonna say guard that name trimming characters in white space character set is not empty. And let me just copy and paste this a total of 3 times and just adjust it here. Otherwise, we will go and return. I do realize we don't have an error message here, but we will just gloss over that and get this working first and foremost. We are also going to guard that the email does contain a @ and that the email does contain a period. Otherwise, we'll return false. And maybe one other thing that I want to enforce is that the length of a password is greater than or equal to 6, right? Privacy is important, security is important, so let's at least require our users to enter in something that is longer than 6 characters. So password does indeed qualify, which is what we're going to be using, but a 2-letter password is probably not secure. So once we have, validated the user's inputs here, we want to create a user. So let's do that. So we can do auth. Let's do that one more time after importing Firebase Auth, which I forgot to do. So let's import Firebase Auth up here, and we're gonna say auth.auth, and we want to create a user with a email and a password. Email is email, password is password, and we should also get a completion block from this, which will give us our newly created user, our newly created user results, and an error. What I'm going to do after that is I want to make sure that we have a new user. So we can say our user is our results.user, and this user does have something called a UID off of it, which is the newly created user's unique identifier. So let me actually call this user ID. Now, once the user ID is received from this new user creation, we want to actually create our own model for a user, basically a data object that represents a user, and insert it into the database. So let's say private func insert user record. Now this function is going to take in a user ID, and we are only going to, in this function, call that function. So we'll say insert user ID, user ID. We do want to say self optional with that question mark and stick a weak self up here since we don't want to cause a memory leak. If you're not familiar with that, I've got a dedicated video on it. It's a detail that is important, but I'm going to gloss over at this time just to make our app work before getting into the nitty-gritty. So inserting a user record in the database is actually quite easy. Now, we first need to create an object that represents a user. So let's jump into our models folder, and we have a user file in here, and let's create a user struct. This struct is going to be codable, and we'll discuss momentarily why we need this and what it's going to be used for. So our user is going to have a ID, which is going to be of type string. They're going to have a name. They'll have an email address, and maybe they'll also have a joined, which will be a time interval representing when they did in fact join our app. When did they sign up? So this is what a user is going to look like. So let's jump back to our register view model and say new user is going to be a user. And we are going to create it with the ID, name is name, email is email, and joined is going to be the current dates, and we're going to say time interval since 1970. And now you might be wondering, what on earth is this? The short and sweet of it is we're not able to save a date object directly into Firebase, into a database. So there are a variety of ways you can do this. You can save a string, you can save the number of seconds from the date since 1970. We're going to go with that latter approach of doing this. So now that we've created this new user object, we need to insert it into our database. So let's do that. So we're going to say our database is firestore.firestore, and to access Firestore, which is our database, we do need to import Firestore up here. And now we can say firestore.firestore. Now the way that this database works is that records are stored in collections and documents. So we're going to have a collection for users where all of our inserted records go. So we'll say our collection of users. We're going to want to have a document with the ID for our user ID, which is being passed in right here. And we're going to say set some data for this. Now, if you look at set data, it actually takes a dictionary in. So what you could do, and you could be tempted to do this, is say, hey, well, name is name, and we can read all of this information off of this model up here. But not only is that a little verbose, but it's a little error prone as well. What happens if you make a typo? Then suddenly you have a typo that doesn't match your model. And it gets a little annoying, to be frank. So the reason we actually made this user object codable is we're going to employ a handy little trick via an extension to be able to convert anything that's codable into a nice dictionary for us with strings and values that we can put into the database. So to do that, we're going to open up this other folder and we'll create a Swift file called extensions. And what I'll extend here is I'm going to write an extension onto Codable, which is the part of the Codable protocol that is responsible for encoding it to data. And what I'll do is I will write a function called asDictionary that will return to us a dictionary of string and any. And inside of here, we'll do the following. We first are going to say, give me data from the current thing that is codable. So we'll say data equals JSON encoder, and I want to encode self. And the reason that we have this as a guard here is that we're going to say try optional, and if we fail, we're simply going to return an empty dictionary. Now, once we have actually got data, what we'll say is convert this to JSON, aka a dictionary, by saying JSON serialization, give me a JSON object with this data, and we're going to put a try, which is why we're inside of a do catch here. If we catch an error, or we throw an error that we catch, we'll return an empty dictionary. Otherwise, we're going to cast this to string any, and finally we can return JSON, otherwise a empty dictionary. So if this is a little confusing, not to worry, this is kind of a bit of a workaround instead of doing things manually, but it is something that will come in super handy. If you're not super familiar with Codable and Encodable, I encourage you to read up on it. It's not that difficult, it's not as scary as it sounds, but it will do wonders for you. So let's jump back to our register view model, if I'm not mistaken, where we were before. Let me see where it went. There it is. And what we'll do here is we're going to say save or set data new user as dictionary. This is what we expect to put into our database. Let's do a command B to build, and let's see if we have any errors. So it looks like it can't find $name, email, or password in our register view anymore, which makes sense because we moved them to the view model. So let's stick a state object in here, and we're going to say the view model for this view is going to be a register view model. You can create it just like that. And this is going to now be $viewModel.name, $viewModel.email, and $viewModel, say it with me, .password. Go ahead and hit Command B to build, and everything should be compiling. And in fact, we should now be able to create a user. All right, so let's give it a shot. And now before we do so, one thing that I do want to point out is in our main view for our app that it opens up to, we're showing this login view directly, right? What we probably want to do is check if the user is signed in, and based on that, we want to actually show something else. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we're going to have a state object in here, and the reason I'm doing this before we attempt to create a user is so we can actually see the app signing in kind of real time. So we're going to create a main view model like so. Whoops, let's try that one more time. Main view model. Now we have a file with this name with, I believe, nothing in it. So let's create a view model for this observable object. And we're going to have two things inside of here. The first one is going to be published. We're going to say current user ID. And we are also going to have an initializer that basically takes nothing. And we will also have a public var saying is signed in. And the signed in is going to return the current user not being nil. So bear with me, we're almost done, I promise. We're going to import Firebase Auth. And if we have a user, that means we are signed in, right? So we're going to say auth.current user. If this doesn't equal nil, meaning there's a value for the current user, that means we're signed in. If it does equal nil, that means we're not signed in. And you might be wondering, well, why do we have this current user ID thing here and it's being defaulted to an empty string? The reason is because we want to actually observe from Firebase when the current user changes. And we can do that via the following. We're going to say auth.auth, and we want to add a did change listener, so state change listener. And what we actually get in this is auth, which we can, I guess, ignore, and a user. And the user is an important piece here because we are going to say self.current user ID will be, whoops, let's try that again, will be user.uid, their unique ID, otherwise an empty string. In other words, whenever the user signs in or signs out, this published will be triggered, right? And that will hereby update our view. Now we also are going to hang on to this handler. So the type of this handler, I don't actually recall, but let's see what we can remember. I believe it is a auth state change handle, listener handle. So here we can say self.handler. And we also want this to be self-optional to not cause a memory leak. So here we will say weak self. Alrighty, let's see what the issue is that it's yelling at me here about, and then we can continue. And we'll actually want to make this handler a private variable, so something that's mutable, and by default it'll be nil, so we're gonna make it optional as well, and I think that's actually why it's yelling at me here, and that error indeed should go away. We also stuck the weak self here to not, once again, cause a retain cycle leaking memory. The last thing I'll do inside of here is say dispatch queue.main.async because assigning to this published property updates the view, we do want to do it on the main thread, i.e. the main queue. So now that we've got this view model here, we can actually use it in our main view, SwiftUI view. So we already had created this here. Let's make sure this is indeed created. All right, hit Command B, everything should hopefully be building. And instead of just showing the login view every single time, we can now use our newly created published property. So we can say, first and foremost, if ViewModel is signed in, and our view model, the current user property is not empty, meaning it must be assigned to something, then we want to show the signed in state. So signed in. Otherwise, we're going to show the login view. So the signed in state is actually going to be a tab view, but just for now, let's show the to-do list view just like that. And in this to-do list view, I'm simply going to stick in a label that says, welcome to your account with an exclamation mark, because we're super excited about it. So I believe that is everything that we need to do. Let's create an account and let's see if this works. If we have any issues, we will debug them together. So we're going to go to create a new account, and I'm going to try to create a new account here. So we're gonna try to create an account. So I'll type in my name. We're gonna type in hello@iosacademy.io, and our super secret password is going to be password. And let me make sure I spelled that correct so we don't get locked out of our own account. Let me just expand the console here as well and clear it. And we'll hit this create account button and make sure something does indeed happen. So I clicked it, and nothing is happening, and I bet I know why, because we never hooked up this register button tap to actually call ViewModel.register. So make sure you don't forget to do that. Back in your register view, you want to actually hook up the action for your TL button. So let's try that for the second time, and let's see if we missed anything else. So type in my name. I will type in an email, and I will also type in a password and hit create account. And boom, just like that, we are in our account. And the coolest thing about this is because Firebase can persist account state, aka auth, if I rerun the app, we should actually go directly to our account. And that's because in our main view, we're saying, hey, if we are signed in from our view model and we have a user ID, go and show the to-do list view. The last thing I'll do is validate that we did indeed create database records and a new user. So in authentication, we do have this new user. It actually even gives you the date when the last sign-in occurred. And in our database, let's make sure we've got users. There's our unique ID, and boom, there's all of our information. So we've got my name, we've got our joined time interval here, which should just be a long number. We've got our user ID, and we've got our email. So congrats, we're finally signing people up. We have an authentication system that works. Obviously, no way to sign out quite yet. We're gonna work on that, but kudos to you if you made it this far. Destroy that like button before clicking away. Let me know in the comments if you have any issues, if you have any suggestions, any problems you face. I'm gonna do my best to help y'all out. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next part.